What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to take a stab at talking about the Need for Speed Unbound drama that occurred over on Twitter. Now, I was gonna maybe take a few steps back and not even cover it, but I was asked this question on a live stream a few days ago on Podcast Now, and I thought this is kind of right up my alley, right? With corporations and Twitter drama. I mean, I actually live for half of that stuff, so let's talk about it. So if you guys are kind of catching up, what basically happened is Need for Speed Unbound's Twitter handle basically went rogue and really started a combative experience with a fan or a consumer, a potential consumer, a person on Twitter. And it went back and forth several times. The person actually ratioed the Need for Speed account. And we're going to read some of these tweets, but, the short of it, the person ratioed them. But then, it kind of blew up, and Dexterdo got a hand on it, and now you have, like, a divide. And this is maybe controversial. You have this divide of, like, were they in the right? Is this kind of like an edgy, cool, modern thing where they're just having some fun? Or is it, like a bad PR person, bad PR thing where you don't want your game to do it? And honestly, for me, it was as simple as, no, this was a really stupid move, and I'm kind of disgusted by Need for like that person's behavior on Twitter. But I thought that was the initial reaction because of the ratio. The person ratioed Need for Speed as they were going on this 12-year-old temper tantrum, in my opinion. But as it kind of blew up and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people saw it, it actually kind of became split where people were like, I don't see any issue with what Need for Speed did. So I just want to kind of throw it out there to say, hey, if you don't agree with how I'm viewing it, I'll respect you as long as you respect my opinion on it. And it's as simple as that, to be honest. So let's read through some of these tweets. Let's read through the initial back and forth drama. Now, Need for Speed did apologize. That's kind of an extra wrinkle. They did kind of own up and say, hey, we were in the wrong. So does that mean they actually believe that with the feedback, or were they getting more negative things than positive? It's up to you to decide. But let's read those tweets. So we got, you asked and we listened, pre-order Need for Speed Unbound Palace Edition today for a 3-day early access to Lakeshore. And this person, Kylo, said, hold on, what did we ask for and what did you listen to exactly to pay more to get 3 days early access? And then they said, gameplay video, ... 3-day early access was always there. Reading is fundamental. And then Kylo says, all right, charging extra to your loyal fan base to play 3 days early isn't really cool and a bit exploitative. Customer relations is fundamental. And again, super ratios. Then Need for Speed just says milkshake brain. And then they say milkshake company. And then Need for Speed says cry about it, bro, or buy regular price. I don't care. And then Kylo says, I was going to buy your game on release date, but due to the admin of this account, you've lost the sale. Well done. Stay edgy and keep being relevant for the 12-year-olds. You ain't half as cool as you think, Chief. You're an embarrassment and unprofessional. And then Need for Speed said, I'm not reading all that. Sorry that happened to you, or congratulations. And then they issued an apology and basically said they got caught up in the, I believe they said, we admit we got caught up in the hype for launch, and they went from there. So, look, honestly, like reading it, just my gut reaction. I got to go with my gut. I got to go with what I believe as I'm just reading. And I've read it, I think, 3 or 4 times now in different, situations. But my opinion is kind of always the same. This was just totally unnecessary. Now, here's where I stand on a couple different issues. So what it seems like, and I didn't know this when I did my live stream, when I kind of reacted on the fly, it seems like this Palace Edition, right? I believe it's $10 more than the normal edition. So you're paying $10. And what you get in that $10, if you pre-order it, you're getting the 3 days early access. And plus the rest of the stuff. And if you buy it, you get the stuff. Now, the stuff is really a lot of cosmetic things. So I think I found it online. It's 4 intense new custom cars, new gassy driving effects, Mashman decals and license plate, exclusive clothing pack, pose and banner artwork, and Unbound pre-order content. So look, the stuff you get for pre-ordering it, pre-ordering it's the 3 days. The stuff you get from the deluxe edition is definitely not for me. I've said it before, like cosmetics and stuff, like skins and stuff, I literally could care less about in any game. Not just, it's not picking on Need for Speed. It's literally any game. So to be fair, if you're buying this and if you're pre-ordering, it is pretty possible you're doing it to get it 3 days early. Now, it's tough because here's the thing. You have like Hogwarts Legacy, a game that I constantly root for and have been a fan of for a long time. Hogwarts Legacy has a 3-day early access. And to be fair, the deluxe edition for Hogwarts, in which you get the 3 days early access, it has other stuff. I could argue they are doing the same thing as EA, where, and again, like, this is an odd business kind of thing. They know that people will spend basically an extra $10 to play the game 3 days early. It's not new. Need for Speed's not the first to do it. Hogwarts Legacy is not the first to do it. I don't love that mechanic. I don't love that business idea. It is pretty exploitative because they know that you care, and so give us $10 and you could play the game 3 days early, which means they could get the game out 3 days early and anybody could play. That's where, and I would say that for Hogwarts, which I root for, anything, it is tough because you could just release the game 3 days earlier. Nobody, like, literally, you're saying you can't because it's give me more money and then I'll let you play the game 3 days early. And it's like, well, you could just do it anyway. You don't need the extra $10, right? So that's a tough one. But here's the thing. You can disagree with that. You can agree with it. You could support it or not. That's fine. The thing that I kind of draw the line on, I really don't think it's that difficult, is with the Twitter back and forth, how hard is it to just either ignore the person or not take it to that next step? So I would argue they were in a gray area where it was reasonable to, like, leave them alone and let them do their thing until they said milkshake brain. I just don't understand why, like, that was the part where they jumped to basically, now I guess the person maybe kind of did it first, but the thing is, it's just a person on Twitter, and I'm not discrediting or taking any power away from that individual. They are right. It's their money. If they were going to buy it and they're turned off by it, they have every single right to say it online and to not do it. That's totally reasonable. But they're just a person. They are one person. So as a company and as a PR thing, I would imagine the general idea would be nice, play nice. If you want to take a couple, small shots, but overall, what's the harm with saying basically what they kind of said, but then they went a little too far, where, like, you could either buy it or not buy it. That's not like, yeah, I have no technical experience of running a company, of selling a Need for Speed game and testing this out to see if it works, but I don't understand what would be so wrong with saying, hey, we're sorry you feel that way, but ultimately, you don't need to spend the extra $10 if you don't want to, play it 3 days early. It's for people that want to, and if you don't want to, totally fine. We respect that. We want you as a customer. You can just buy at full price, the normal price. That's it. What's so hard with saying? And they said part of that, but they didn't say the whole thing. And then they insulted the person. And so, what was so hard, or what is so hard with talking like that? That's kind of where I'm at. And I do kind of agree. Like, the way that account was going. Yeah, like, it is kind of being edgy, and, like, I'm not saying, like, every single person who took Need for Speed side is a 12-year-old, but I do feel like the general audience would be a little bit younger that would kind of support Need for Speed. I don't know. I mean, look, when people come at me online and stuff like that, do I get a little, not like testy? What I like to do is get very sarcastic, or if they're sarcastic to me, I'll get sarcastic back. Not like actual criticism. Actual criticism, I'll talk to them about. I mean, I like receiving that stuff. But if you're going to just be disrespectful just to do it, sometimes I'll take jabs back, I'll be sarcastic back, or I'll flat out ignore them because I could care less about their opinion. And I just feel like, why aren't they, it's a different thing for sure. It's a different size and scale. And they're selling a game. I'm selling, I guess, my own value, like what I do with videos, but I just don't understand why it went to this point. So I'm definitely not on Need for Speed side. And it's just another wave of, I think this is what people were reminded of with the situation, Saints Row. What is with companies now? And this is not new. You look at Hollywood and stuff, companies been doing this for like 3, 4, 5 years. Gaming, it's like, I don't really think it's a good idea to start, like, attacking your customers or, trying to play it edgy, because you are going to alienate. And I would heavily argue, right, that there are people, I've seen people online that say, oh, because of what Need for Speed did, I'm actually going to buy their game. I'm going to support them in their fight against these whining people on Twitter. I would argue the sales you're going to lose over this situation are more than you would gain. I'm just going to go off on a limb and say, having this kind of behavior, you're going to lose more people than you may gain. I don't know that for sure, but I'm going to assume it. I also assume that if you kept your mouth shut and you didn't respond to this person literally at all, just let them talk. You don't even have to respond with a kind of meeting them in the middle mentality that I was saying. You don't even need to do that. If you just let them tweet and you don't say anything back, you're gonna lose nobody, actually. You know, like, well, maybe you lose people that find the pre-order thing and they're upset about the 3-day early access, but you're not gonna you're not gonna start anything because of your back and forth with this person on Twitter. That's a safe bet, right? Because if you don't open your mouth, you don't create this scenario. But yet again, it's maybe all publicity is good publicity. Maybe it's that kind of argument. I don't know. There are definitely ways of looking at it. And like I said, I mean, if you think Need for Speed was in the right here, I'll respect that as long as you respect, you know, where I stand on it. I don't think it was a good move from them. I don't know why companies decide to attack people. Again, it's not new, but for the gaming industry, like the gaming gamers are, I think, just a more hardcore kind of breed than what you find in like a Marvel fandom. Like if Marvel goes after people on Twitter, I just feel, I mean, that's not great either, I personally think. I just think it looks even worse when you do it to gamers. They are a combative bunch, right? They will, and the thing originally with the ratio, I feel like that was the telltale sign that this was a mistake, right? Once other sites picked it up and it got a lot of likes and retweets, maybe outside of like gamer or what, I don't know, maybe it reached other kinds of gamers, but once it started to blow up, you started to see a divide of maybe the person was in the wrong and Need for Speed was in the right. But originally, when this person was going at them and they were going back at them, the ratio stuff, I mean, that kind of tells you the people watching it in that moment, maybe people that were Need for Speed fans or they followed the account or whatever, they were not happy with what they were doing. And that's important to, you know, remember. So let me know what you guys think about the drama online. Make sure, I guess, are you going to get the game or not? I was never going to get the game. I don't think I'm going to get the game, even less now because of the situation. I just was never going to get it in the first place, at least at full price, just because of when it released. But let me know, you know, your situation in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I'll see you all on the next one.